It's time for that freshwater aquarium keeping fish, shrimp, plants, and more. Because let's just face it, there's a lot more to keep in freshwater than there is saltwater. Yes, I did say that. Well, actually, I don't know about species wise, but I don't know. I bet there is more freshwater species. You guys know? Is there more saltwater species or is there more freshwater species? All I know is you can make a lot more environments out of this. Actually, how is the quality? I don't know if I got in my Wi-Fi, so hopefully the quality looks good here. Let me go ahead and get into live chat. Good to see you guys. Another week down. Been working on that enclosure, getting screens in. Almost got the ceiling done, but get some of the side pieces in. And man, it's getting so close. And have literally been grinding like every hour I have towards it, on top of trying to just maintain things here. If you do look, I do get things topped off here. But the whole reason why we do this is so you guys can ask questions and hopefully we can help you out with it. Because if I don't know it, there's definitely people in the chat that will help out. And, there's a lot of, I say this all the time, there's lots of ways to do this. So maybe somebody's got one way you'll like, somebody may have another way you'll like, depending on what you're looking for and what you're going for. But that's why we do this, to have that venue for you guys and also try to keep you guys update on what's going on. And you guys who did order, thank you guys for your orders. We do not ship out on holidays. Unfortunately, just not worth the risk to the fish, shrimp, and plants. But we will have them out next Wednesday. So if you guys have been wanting to order, um, everything that's in stock right now is what's in stock. I didn't update it just because we didn't ship this week, but next week's going to be awesome, perfect weather for shipping, looks like. And also, the heat packs are included in the shipping prices if you guys need one. So you guys don't have to worry about like buying extra of that. I know some websites will try to make you buy your heat pack, but it's all into the cheap, low price of shipping. All right, any of you guys got questions? Good to see you guys in here. All the hellos. Man, I really hope I got on my Wi-Fi, and I know I can't check it. Can you guys like give me a heads up, like how the quality of the video is coming out for you guys? Because last time I checked it, the whole screen actually went black and had to restart the whole live stream. But if it's gonna be like a choppy, crappy video, I really don't want to run it. So I'd rather restart it than run it. All right, thank you guys for letting me know. Appreciate that. So I guess if you guys ain't got questions, then I guess I'll ramble on. I don't really know what to ramble on, but I know what you guys are doing. You're trying to get me to get up and start looking at things, aren't you? Oh man, there is so much work that needs to be done in here, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I cannot wait to get this job outside done. Is just get back in here and really mess around with stuff. But hello, everybody. You guys want to see some endlers and stuff? You'd be fun to make a tank with. Oh, for sure. There's all, like I said, there's all kinds of ways to do it. I've made a few tanks. They're a bit different. This one's cool. These are the Glossolepis maculosus. This is my main breeding group right here. And check out that algae. Like a full-on woolly bush. There was a bunch of rainbow tiger endlers in here. I actually ended up moving them because I needed to move these guys, get them breeding, and get some babies out of them. Which above, I actually do have a bunch of babies. I don't know if you'll be able to pick them up here on the live. Yeah, if you look at the very top at the biofilm here, you can see little things moving around there. Those are the babies. They're little babies. This big old spawning mop of Java moss. All right, but questions. Come on, guys. Can't be treating you with all the tanks. Are you guys gonna want me to do walkthroughs all the time? Let's see how the internet does down here. And if you guys been wanting Silverados, God, I gotta find new homes for these things because I just have so many of them. I got them on the line for super cheap, like $8 a pair. Focus. Get that side light on them. These purple mosquitoes. But see, they started throwing these guys. I don't even know what you call that. Red Moscow. I've been working on that line a little bit. The red coys. I love these guppies when they get that ambient light on them. These albino swords. Nobody ever buys these. I think I got all males in there. Oh, no, she said I'm here. I need to get her separated, though. I realized how male heavy I was in that. That guy, he's wild. These are like mixed rainbow tiger antlers with other genetics. They're starting to pop out, and it's really wild looking. Johnny Bass, you the best, bro. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Come down that $2 super chat. You the man. Val Dirt or VA Dirt Fishing says, "Hey Lucas, what's your favorite bacteria starter? What all's in the air?" So pretty much what that and or a snail. Snails are good to start too. I guess I don't really use bacterial starters. Like there's so much that is actually in the air. So when you're looking and you see the sun shining and you see all the dust particles in that sun, like that's all around you all the time. So things get in. And that's what kind of helps naturally kick the cycles. Like it'll get in there one way or other. Like nature finds a way. Those things are gnarly. Look at that. There's actually one thing I really need to do. Well, one of many things I really need to do in the fish room is start getting more focused on these endlers that I've been working with. Because I've got some gnarly stuff that like is unusual that I would like to show you guys and capture where I have them and work on braiding them straighter. Let's see. What's your favorite main fish food? My favorite main fish food is tetracolor tropical granules. It's what everything eats all the time. They never get tired of it. You think they would get tired of it, but they don't. One day, it might be soon to need to actually have a tank of nuri crip that I may be letting go of soon. At least a little bit of it. Miss Magoo who says, I had asked before, but I can't recall what you said. What is the best place to get a pond liner? So you can go to halfoffpondliners.com or you can go to justpondliners.com. And they tend to be the top ones that really compete as far as pricing goes. Do I breed Plecos? Asked Gabrielle. So I don't breed a whole lot for Plecos. They're actually would probably do really well in my water, and I should probably focus more on them, but I don't. I just haven't set it up for them. But I bet they would do really good. Need to get some more. It's just the only problem with Plecos in no filter aquariums is they constantly kick up stuff. So what happens is your tank just ends up looking like this, like these coolie loaches. See that coolie loach there? See how there's all this stuff? It kind of looks like brown water in the water column. Like there's nothing wrong with this tank. It's just simply the fact that those coolie loaches kick everything up into the water column, and Plecos tend to do the same thing. Although I do say that, oh, I don't know if we'll see him. Oh, yeah, he is actually back there. If you look way back towards the back, there's a Pleco in here, and his tank actually looks fairly clear. Why that is, I don't know. I think it's a combination of the fish as well as all the guppy grass to where they'll kind of munch on the excess of mold so it doesn't really gather up so much. But I do have affinity for Plecos. I do love them. And if you haven't seen it or heard it, Mr. Pleco, I made a song a long time ago with Aquarium Co-op. We put out the hit Mr. Pleco. It's a classic if you haven't seen it. There's a Pseudomagule Aru too. Breeding colony. Fish Dreams, thank you for becoming a member too. I appreciate that. The support is very helpful because we got fish stuff to get, you know. I'm sure you could relate. But always good to see you in here. You ever mess with pink tuxedo guppy? Maybe what you're calling pink tuxedo guppy is that these? Let's see. Coming up here, buddy. There, get on the side of them. Also known as pingu guppies, where they get a little pink in them. Oh, buddy. Turn to the side. There you go. I actually got some antlers back in the back that look really pink. Those? Is that what you're talking about? Oh, those pingus. See, Johnny Best asks, what is with guppy grass from the clippings you gave me that it hates me? You're what? The guppy grass ain't doing well for you, bub? Um, shoot. Guppy grass should be like simple. Like you set it, you forget it. Um, usually doesn't mind highlight or low light. Are you using like Excel or any like herbicides? A lot of people don't realize like liquid carbon and stuff can be a herbicide as well and melt things. And with the softness of guppy grass, let's see. Well, I wish I had looking for one with more light on it. There you go. If you look at the leaves, they're more softer, so they could be more prone to those herbicides and things like liquid carbon. I don't know. It's kind of weird that cover grass doesn't do good for you. Is it getting turned over, like flipped around a lot? It likes to just sit in place. Like for me, guppy grass just grows like crazy. And matter of fact, it used to be in like most all these tanks. Right, I'll get ambitions of, oh, I'm gonna plant this out, do this, do that, and then this becomes the natural guppy grass, is the algae. So it's like either that or algae sometimes. But for me, it grows like crazy. Na, 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 na. So can you still get bacteria from the air in your tanks if you have lids? You know, if you're running a filter, yeah, because it's pumping all that air into your tank anyway. Granted, the filter is going to be filtering some of that dust and particle because it does have like a little dust thing on it. So maybe it's a little slower, but trust me, it finds a way. That's how tanks naturally kind of cycle themselves. And you always want to start off with just like a couple fish, not a whole bunch at once. That should be the rule regardless of if you're adding bacteria or if you're just letting it naturally cycle. Just for the simple fact is once you add that first fish, that's what really kickstarts most of it anyways. You really don't want to go more than that. Absolutely love this fern that falls into this. Grow these little babies. Check this thing out. Pretty cool. Let's see. There's a few more plants up here. Growing out. All right. I love showing you guys stuff, but I am ready to sit down. It has been a long, long day. My back is killing me. All right. What do you guys hear? All right, let's knock out some of these questions. Boom, 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 boom. If I can find them. Fish Stream says, Lucas, I have scuds in my shrimp tanks. Do I need to break them down? So if you don't want scuds, yeah, probably. And they do compete with shrimp, but at the same time, they can live together as well. Just make sure that you're feeding your scuds like some guppy grass, for instance. They would love to eat guppy grass. I could feed them guppy grass all day. Algae, you can actually feed them table scraps. Just like I actually have this video long, long time ago. Like the editing and stuff's kind of cringe compared to like what things are now. But it was like this show and tell episode 2, I believe, where I'd turn this shrimp and scud tank into like a compost tank. So I was throwing like the lettuce core into it. I was throwing orange peels into it. I was throwing celery in it. There's actually literally celery growing off the top of the water. It's a really neat tank. It looked gross, but as far as a science experiment, it taught me a ton about keeping aquariums more natural, especially back then. This was probably like 7, 8 years ago, maybe. Like when I first started YouTube, maybe even longer than that. But it was wild. There was so many shrimp in that tank, so many scuds. There was baby rainbow fish growing out in it. And like it was a whole little ecosystem. And I couldn't even believe how like some of the vegetables were trying to grow too. But it taught me because back then, like everybody was being so pristine and you had to be so pristine, especially on YouTube with your stuff, and just because people didn't understand anything as much as far as like more of a the dirty side of aquarium keeping, and I don't want to call that natural fish keeping because that's just going a little more extra when you're throwing table scraps in and stuff. It's more of a like a just science experiment. Oh, it was pretty neat. But if you do want to get rid of those scuds, like you have to reset it all. Probably use new gravel, like full on reset if you don't want any of them. You'll have to pick your shrimp out from them, which that's going to be a process in itself. Because those things are excellent, excellent hiders, and no matter how much you think you may get the scuds out, even if you're trying to bait them and get them out, you'll never get them all out. I've had them live in the ecosystem with like tons and tons of rainbow fish and other fish in community tanks. And they just hide in the tiniest cracks and crevices. What's up? What up? Getting to see some tanks. Yeah, Carrie. Good to see you in here. Speaking of which, Carrie, I got to get to your message. God, I'm glad you reminded me. Fish streams. Oh, I already read that. I'm kind of like in between my questions here. What fish need more breeders? Says Day Day. It always takes two to tango. What I like to do personally, as far as just fish in general, when it comes to breeding, is if you do got a pair, breed that pair. If you got two pairs, try to breed each pair. That way you have one line of genetics and another line of genetics, and eventually you ain't running all brothers and sisters. And you can mix what they create later down the road into like deeper gene pools. So then once you get to that, then yeah, get into like the group breeding of them. Um, there is like certain fish like cichlids that just prefer to be in pairs. And then like tetras, rasboras, a bunch of like guppies and stuff like that. They like to more colony breeding groups. You wanted coolie loaches? Also picked up some autos. Yeah, the autos would be a lot cleaner than those coolie loaches. Those coolie loaches kick up the substrate like crazy. Miss Magoo, who says, is it worth extra money to 60 mil versus 45 mil? Honestly, I think most all of them are done in 45 mil for the usual. I'm pretty sure that's what I did for all mine. Which is, I was just thinking about this today because I am working on this huge project outside and it has taken me a long time to do with that enclosure build, but it's still not my biggest project. I don't think I'll have a biggest project that had beat that backyard that I built that had like those five different ponds and re-terraform the rock walls and stuff to make it all flat. I really wish I would have gotten way more footage of that. And I don't know. I really would like to visit that property again just to see what it looks like. Because that was a crazy big project I did and didn't really show a lot of. Like I spent years on that project building that backyard up. And I would have filmed more of it. It was just the timing of it because that was when the housing market was going crazy and it was like either move now or never. And I was facing winter and I did not want to see winter. I don't know, but my local shop has half black, half pink guppy. Like I've seen them red, not so much pink. Sounds cool though. Get that like light colored pink with contrast black. Sounds really cool. And I'm interested in seeing what those look like now. Actually. Aquarium Fantasy says, Lucas, how's the new dehumidifier going? It's going pretty good. Like, I don't have to come in and worry about emptying a dehumidifier all the time. Granted, I could have just plumbed up my old dehumidifier and it would have done like somewhat the same job, but not quite. Like, as far as the square footage, like it's made a huge difference of like what it feels like in here, where the air is not as thick filling and it's so much better. So much better. But I do still got to run a dehumidifier back in the other room. Just because it's kind of like in its own spot and closed off. Another reason why I want to get this wall down at some point. That way it just opens up the whole area, lets more of it breathe. I just always wanted tanks in the wall, and now I realize how much of a pain in the butt they are. Now I'm like, nah, I don't really want them as much. But I had to experience that and do it to realize that, that's not what worked for me. I mean, it looks cool. I like them. A lot of what I do though, like these darker ones, you can't really see much of them because, well, breeding. I gotta breed fish. It'd be different if all my tanks were like for show, but I really don't have much for show tanks besides my paludariums. that are in the house. Which we got to get a update on here sooner than later. I've been hoping Lady LRB would drop a fresh hit on it. Maybe one of these days, but we can't always wait on her. Gabrielle asks, do you have tips for breeding and growing rice fish? So I do have some rice fish videos. They do love sunlight, so if you really want to breed them, taking them outside. Of course, it's not as easy to do now with it being winter. I guess maybe you're in Australia and it's summer there, but the sunlight brings a lot of those like fancier rice fish colors out. But they've got to be like one of the easiest fish. Like when I first started building this fish room up, like I had a fish room at my old place, sold it with all the tanks, hundreds of them, moved down here and was trying to rebuild. So I had like 50 tanks I was working off from the get go that I just happened to have spare of. I don't know why I had so many spare tanks, but I guess there's a reason why I hoard them. But to get a lot of those tanks cycled and going, I was literally just taking my rice fish from like one tank to another. They're a great cycling fish. Like when you're just first starting off a tank, because they're just so hardy and just so easy. There's really not a whole lot you have to do for them. And as far as braiding them, you can get like little sponge mops. People use like these like green pads. I don't know what you really call them. Use for like washing dishes, and then they'll lay on there. Or you could just use the regular yarn spawning mops, and they'll throw eggs on there. Then you just either collect the eggs and put them in another place, and or remove the adults. Often, what I'll do, since I don't really like the look of the artificial yarn, I would rather have a tank full of algae any day than like artificial yarn. So I would take like a group of breeders, put them in like one of these natural tanks, let them throw eggs all over it, and then I'll just move the group. And then the babies just grow up and eat off of all the little microorganisms that will live in these natural environments. And since they're no filtered, those little organisms get a lot better chance of culture and allow a whole kind of food system for the babies as they grow up. Especially if I can get some Daphnia in there. And why, when you get Daphnia, there's like Moina Daphnia and like Magna Daphnia, and there's like the Red Russian as well. The Red Russian and the Magna Daphnia are the bigger ones. And I always would go for the bigger Daphnia because even the bigger Daphnia have smaller Daphnia that are just younger. The Moina can be very small. But the Magna and Red Russian cover more of these stages of them growing out. Mox Owl says, "How many different endlers do you keep?" I really don't know. I don't do the best at like counting and organizing exactly everything I have, which that'll all come down the road. Mostly because I've been in build mode for a long time here in this fish room and outside, and the more I get organized, or the more I add, the more I can get organized because my collectoritis just runs crazy. And really don't know. There's actually a ton of them that I'm kind of working on as well. So if there's like actual different types of not just lines, but just different endlers, it would probably be around 50 or so. I don't know. I might be exaggerating a little bit. 30 to 50. Gary Brent says, pulling the trigger and getting racks build RO unit, water storage, and getting organized out in the shop in the fish room. PEX or PVC for water lines? I'm a big fan of the PEX. That's what I've used for all of mine. Let's go ahead and do this view. I don't think we've been over here yet. So there's even more tanks. Yep. But yeah, I would do PEX personally. PEX is so much easier. Granted, you got to get more tools, but when it comes to getting into tight spots and things like that, especially when you're running like big runs, so you got a bunch of like little tanks like that where you've got all those additions to it. It's so much easier to run PEX than it is PVC. Trying to glue all that. Some weird lighting out here. Oh, ooh. All right. Let's see. Where are we? Yeah, appreciate that fish fam mentioning hitting that like. Yes, please hit that like. Let YouTube know I'm doing something over here. I showed up to work. Just kidding. It's kind of like showing up to work, but not really because I like hanging out with you guys. Lady LRB says maybe volcano guppies. No, those volcano guppies, those are like more pink and light blue. They're not really black per se. And thank you, Aquarium Fantasy, for posting up the website. Definitely would be helpful right now. I have hopefully purchased my last material for this enclosure build, but still puts me in the paying debt because I had to use his credit card for it. So if I could get some orders in, that would be great. Aquarium Fantasy says, Lucas, have you done the math on how many tanks you're going to have outside? No, I haven't. It's really going to be kind of hard to tell until I actually get the racks built up out there for them. Which that's a whole nother stage to this. Another thing I got to work towards. Sure, I still got to do the doors too. But the screens will be done. The dragonflies, although the dragonflies aren't so much out now, they at least won't be able to get in and mess with my fish. Because, God, it's a pain in the ass trying to flashlight those out all the time. Literally spend so much time doing that. But I got a few configurations of the outdoor tanks. So I've already got like some low boys and some other like frag tanks that were drilled that I got from Aquatics when he shut down. I'm not going to be trying to smash as many tanks as I can. I'm actually going to try to save some room for certain things, which you guys will see here as I build it and time goes by. I start adding to that. It's really when I get these screens done, I feel like adding the racks and the doors and stuff, they won't be as dire, and I can start like meshing content in instead of just being full on construction mode. Let's see. Gabrielle says, I think one of my goldfish has skin flukes. What do they look like and how do I treat? None of my other fish tend to have. So, what that tends to look like is they'll kind of get up underneath the scales and stuff and kind of protrude the scales. So, the flukes like to try to get up underneath those. And then, so if you see like those puffed up, now if it's like white or spotty, I don't know what you're seeing. But if you let me know what you're seeing, then we could maybe better diagnose the situation. Because although, like, even ick, like one fish can get it and maybe not the rest of them get it. And it's usually due to like either a genetic thing or just the general health of the fish because a lot of this stuff can exist within your water column but may not ever take effect if you have healthy fish. But if you have weak fish with weak immunities, That's when a lot of those kind of problems will show up. When it really comes down, a lot of people will be like, "Oh, it's water quality, water quality." Well, that's partially right, and mostly due to people keeping environments way too sterile. And then the negative things can usually affect the immunity of the fish too. Like, because what some people may consider not good water would be stuff like, over here, which like green water, that stuff's actually really good. That dirty water up there is actually really good. And keeps the fish super healthy, believe it or not, because it's what's really natural to their environment. And when you keep them in situations like that, they tend to have more of a better immunity, especially depending on the fish. And why it's important to try to stick to fish like soft water, try to stick, like, if you've got soft water, try to stick to those soft water fish. If you got hard water, try to stick to those hard water fish, because that all plays a role into their immunity. And then a lot of people get onto temperature as far as like temperatures causing issues with fish. Usually, recommended temperatures tend to be for breeding purposes, and some do generally like it warmer, some not so much, but they all have seasons, and that all plays within their immunity as well. Higher temperatures are, even if they like high temperatures, it still runs their metabolisms high. I know, it's kind of going off on a tangent on that. Carrie Breton says the HBAOC's leopards are still my favorite. How would you describe the difference between guppies versus endlers? Guppies get all the glory, I feel like. So, endlers are more like stealthier guppies, period. They just have smaller tails. They're just smaller, stealthier. I've seen guppies go to endlers and endlers go to guppies, just with a little bit of genetic mixing, and or it's just sometimes even the line. Because say if you got a guppy line and you just constantly let that same colony run, the smaller male tends to be the winner because he's the fastest. So the males with the big heavy fins, it's harder for them to breed and move around and get to the females before the smaller, more stealthier males. So they will tend to be the breeders. And so they're pretty much, now they are like wild types of endlers. And it's just kind of like more colorful mosquito fish. But yeah, generally it's within the tails. Aquarium Fantasy says, Lucas, will you have to drill the tanks to prevent overflow when it rains? So I was going to put a cover over, like kind of like a general roof over the top of the tank. So when it did rain, it would just kind of slide off to elsewhere. And I just wouldn't have to worry about that. But I do want to drill these because really any and all the rest of the tanks that I do end up putting up, I'll probably have um, water flow and outflows, because as far as time wise, just topping off my ponds outside, like I just would not have the time to keep up with it all. So if I do want to add tanks, I've got to have it more automated, or I just won't be able to keep up with it. Pops says, "Hey Lucas, can you make a saltwater tank from my old freshwater tank, or do you need to start over?" Yeah, I don't see why you couldn't. There's no reason why you couldn't. There's lots of brackish shores and stuff like that that go freshwater to saltwater. all the time that has lots of switches and lots of changes in between. So you can definitely do it. A matter of fact, would probably give whatever saltwater live, microbiology that gets in there. It will give them something to eat on. They'll really get it cycled quicker. So it would probably just cycle quicker. You wondered about the outside racks. Yeah, definitely gonna do those. Um, I do have to use. That's one thing. Well, I guess if I'm making a ceiling over it, so I do have to use pressure treated wood on those racks outside. And if I did allow the rain to come down on them, like I would get a lot of that pressure treatment stuff into the tanks. But yeah, if I block off the rain, I don't really have to worry about that so much. Queen Blood Ghosting says, "What do you think about Congo tetras?" I absolutely love Congo tetras. Might be one of the only tetras that I've actually bred. Or no, that's not true. I guess I've done like silver tips and a few others, but they do like to breed on fine leaves. I learned that. I used to keep a lot more of them back in the day, especially in my 240. That's where I ended up accidentally breeding them. I love the Congo Tetra. Absolutely beautiful. The sheen and colors that pop off of them. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And then you get into those, what are those? Those yellow Congo Tetras. There's actually a lot of different ones now. I want to say they call them Lampite Congo Tetras, but I don't think that's quite right. I swear I forget half of what I learn in this hobby half the time. Sometimes I remember it, sometimes I don't. Those like yellow and blue looking Congo Tetras. I actually have always wanted a real nice tank of those that's one I haven't done that I've always wanted to do that I remember. Ruby Rescue says, "What are good plants to drop in an outdoor 27 gallon tote where 0 or whatever, where in winter where it doesn't normally freeze?" Where it doesn't normally freeze, so you gotta be careful with that. You do want to try to stay with things that are more natural into your environment, or at least protect it. Very common things: guppy grass, Vallisnerias, cryptocorns, mosses. Pearlweed actually does really well in the cold too. Mhm. Are deep sand beds dangerous? Something about anaerobic zones. I only go so deep with my sand beds just because you just start taking up space. I don't really think it would cause that much of an issue. Granted, I just haven't really tested it out, but like I have a lot of my substrates where it grows some funky stuff where I can see it. It's on the glass. There's different colors. There's bubbles up underneath it, all that, and it's very actually very natural. So you think about outside and outdoor ponds, creeks, things that have no flow. They have about as deep of a dirt bed that you can get. So I don't know. I don't think it would really cause any problems. I've seen a lot of people blame things like that though, like air bubbles that come out, like sulfide bubbles and stuff, is what's killing their fish. But I think often when our one of our fishes die, we are looking for clues here and there, and sometimes people like to, or let's just say, we come up with different things than what the real problem could and more likely is. I've seen it happen a lot. Okay, Brent says my tap water sucks. Period. TDS 800 plus here in the oil patch. Yeah, that's rough. That's crazy. Sticking with RO water, crushed coral, and my filters to add mineral and some lava rock. What else naturally can help? Argonite can help. Um, Actually, a lot of the lime rock that is in my yard, pretty much my whole yard would help. I don't know if they really sell or make that lime rock. You might have some lime rock somewhere. Oh, Texas Holy Rock. I know you guys have that. That's like your guys' type of lime rock. And yeah, the GH boosters are definitely good too. Shaden or C Hayden, whichever or says I shut my lights and CO2 off for a few days. My hair algae is orange now. If I try to gently pull it off, it uproots the hair grass. Any suggestions? So, if it's already changing color and it's already kind of turning orange, that's a good sign that it is dying. So, I would continue to let it die off. I would do a water change because more you do a water change more frequently, where it adds that reoxygenation, that oxidization actually breaks down a hair algae quite a bit and it can help kill it off. So when you do that, hopefully it will start becoming more loose and not as tight and make it easier to grab off. So if it's starting to just pull off your hair grass, don't fight it. Do a small water change and then see how it goes from there. Give it a couple days, small water change. See how it goes from there. Give it a couple days, small water change. By then, it should be either loosened up or gone. And if you did black it out for a little while, like just turned off the light, you don't have to black out fully. It can help break it down too. But I feel like sometimes, actually, that's not really that bad, especially if it's only a few days on the system. Because there is a balance between the plant growth and the algae growth. Like the more that the plants can grow, the more it offsets what the hair algae is eating off of. And plants do actually regenerate more at night than they do during light time. And it is natural for cloudy days and it not to always be sunny. Aquarium Fantasy says, how are the axolotls? The axolotls are doing good. We'll actually, we're at 48 minutes here. We'll take a little gander at them. We'll show off a little axolotl action because, I like looking at them too. My guy's always so. I am pressing the wrong button. What you guys doing? Look at the little baby goldfish. So tiny. My miniatures. These are like the runts of my goldfish brood. They're so tiny. These two are kind of getting big though. There might be even smaller ones in there. Anyway, axolotls. Ooh, that one's swimming. Go, little buddy, go. You can do it. Oh, did you guys hear that? Maybe not. Burp, burp. Come up, get a little air. Fly back down. There are the axolotls. Of course, you only really see those because other ones kind of blend in when it's nighttime. Swinks. See another one up there, over there. Another one over here. She's blending into the rock. I did see some shrimp out, and I got endlers in here, which it was nice to actually still see some shrimp out. But they're doing good. Whoa, I'm all shaky here. Standing on this electric cord. How many hours of light for your plants? So a lot of them actually vary. He's just hanging out. That little tiny piece of plant. Like, yeah, this is my little tiny piece of plant. Yeah, I flooded a tank topping off last night. Like this back row, these these only run like 5 hours, and that's mostly so I don't have to scrape the front of the glass on them as much. But the ones, ooh, excuse me, these same with those, only like 5 hours, 5 6 hours. These run about, let's see, 8 to 9 for all the rest. And that's just due to like the fact that I do got a bunch of plants growing out of them, and I do like to have my tanks on and looking at them, but I should probably run them less. So it all depends on what I'm trying to get out of it. So the less light I have, the less algae I grow. Slower I'll grow plants. More light, I can get more algae, but I could also grow plants more. So there's like a give and take from it. See, I have that algae. Like the big reason why I have hair algae, and a lot of people do, is actually due to iron in the water. I have so much iron in my water, it really feeds it like crazy. But as I do water changes, it starts discoloring. Eventually this moss could get so massive if I stay up on small water changes here and there that I could outgrow that algae. Oh no, my rope fish. My poor little rope fish. He's sleeping forever. Just kidding. He's just napping. We do that all the time. Let's see. Aquarium Fantasy asks, says, Lucas, would you ever make your own fish food? Eh, probably not. Probably not. I did think about like getting into that. Like, ooh, maybe I should have LRB brand this, that, and other. There's only so much time in a day. When it comes down to doing what I love, I prefer just breeding and sharing. I do it naturally without all the product, especially for people who don't have all the money to just throw at it. Because this hobby shouldn't be expensive to really enjoy and love. I absolutely love this tank. 55 gallon on the side. One of the big reasons why I just wanted this wall. Mike Reardon says, Lucas, do you leave your pearl weed and guppy grass outside in the tubs over the winter? I do. I do. Hello, everybody coming in. Good to see you all. Any luck of breeding the axolotls? So I did have them lay couple egg sacs. They're kind of small though. So I feel like at some point they were trying. I haven't seen much of it lately. So not quite yet. I'd actually like separate out a male and female and maybe throw them into the other 125 behind me. Then yeah, probably could get them too. That's another one of those things that I got to get the time for. Like everybody else says, my goldfish has short, skinny white worm-like things on his body. Can't figure it out. His skin looks irritated with scales are not raised. So what it sounds like is you have hookworms. And hookworms can kind of be a pain to get rid of. What you can do is you have to get your fish You have to try to pluck the worms off of them. And so it's best to get them in like a small spot, get some tweezers to where you could actually pluck the worms off. And then I would treat with some either that prosy whatever stuff, Quintel, whatever that is for worms, and or fenbendazole to help kill the worms. I mean, I've had it before, and it wasn't really that hard to get rid of once I plucked them off the fish. Just make sure when you pluck them off the fish, you're not adding the worms back in with the water that's going in with the fish. Hey, buddy, you should go check up on your friend. I think he had too much to eat. Look at him. You would think he was dead. They do that all the time. I'd be sad if he really was, but I know he's got me with that. I don't know how many times. Well, where'd you guys go? There's a bunch of shellfin or cellfin shiner babies in here, but the camera's not really picking them up well. They're so itty bitty. Kind of see at the top of the water. Little bits of movement. God, I can't wait to get these tanks cleaned up though. Just kind of get things reset and going. Ooh, look at these little babies. I don't even know what these are. Let's see if I can see them. There's one. Some tiny little guys. This is in my Synodontis tank, which there's like 20 of them in there, but you don't see any. What you guys packed up doing? Scandron? Need to get a bunch of the babies out of here too. It's funny how the goldfish always go to bed. Like during the whole day, they'll all be grouped up here. Like, feed me, yum, yum. But as soon as it gets later, they all go to bed. Look, they're slowly coming out because they think there's a chance. And look, this one's coming out, and then the rest are like, I'll follow you. And if some of you guys saw my goldfish short where I was showing these goldfish, they have actually changed quite a bit since. Like, look at this black and orange one now. Isn't that a cool combo? And one's still kind of black. I'm getting scared because I was making noises with my hand being on here and it just rubbing. It was enough for him to be like, no, we're going back to bed. Wish they would eat my duckweed though. Yeah, I've had them in there forever for that job and they don't. Look, there's actually shrimp in there with them too. So they get like all kinds of other natural foods within. But those tetracolored tropical granules, they must taste like cheeseburgers because they always want those instead of everything else. Whoa, hello. Or to me, it would be chili cheese dogs. Oh, yum, yum. Are those Alanites that were in there? To be honest, the reason why they're still in there is because I don't actually know what they are. I think they're either Cali rum or they are Synergos. I'm not really sure. I can't remember what I put in there. Usually I'm good at labeling them, but that one I did not label, unfortunately. So now I'm kind of growing them out to figure it out. I'm pretty sure they're Synergos. Aquarium Fantasy says, Lucas, would you ever do a live stream while you do tank maintenance? So, I don't know. I mean, it's not a bad idea. it might be hard to be very interactive with you guys. I feel like if I want to do something like that, I need like a camera guy or person to like be showing what I'm doing, because I feel like a live tank maintenance video, the angles and the shots that would be needed to really show it to you guys right. That cameraman would be good. But who knows? Maybe. I get things all built up here, which, is pretty soon. And I just got free thinking time like that. Let's see. Because I still got so many videos written down that I need to make as well. I actually kind of used to do them back in the day, but it was more just like water changing. Maybe we'll do some. It's a good idea, though. Aquarium fantasy. It is a good idea. Yeah, filterless FT dubs. Fish Dream says, Lucas, which rice fish is your favorite? I know you love those kind of questions. You know I love to pick favorites when it comes to fish. Yeah, no, I hate picking favorites when it comes to fish. It's just so hard to do. Really, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Go for the ones you like. There's a lot of flavors of them anymore. And for me, the ones I like the best are the rarest ones. The ones I don't have yet. Although I got a lot of rare ones. I'm always partial to blues. I haven't really seen much for green in any rice fish. Those would be cool. Actually, the closest to green I've seen in a rice fish is probably from the Matano rice fish, which is like a whole nother different kind of rice fish than the regular Japanese rice fish. But I do have some in here, I'll show you guys. Matter of fact, there's probably not a whole lot of people still keeping Matano rice fish, just because they were like $50 a piece on Dan's Fish for the longest time, and not a lot of people were crazy enough to pay that much for them. I'm a little crazy. Oh god, the tank is like terribly dirty on the front. Do got a scrawny one up there. There's the blue eyes. Come on up, babies. Guess I got more like yellow than green. They're skittish little fishes. Look at this guppy grass. This guppy grass is nuts. Believe it or not, these are just loaded with shrimp. Absolutely loaded. Shrimp ahoy. Let's see. These are those rainbow. No, I think these are Kelly Rums. Now I'm seeing the red on them. But once again, since I don't know what they are, it's probably just going to be a group of fish I hoard for the longest time. I just ain't going to sell them if I don't know exactly what they are. Which I think these are their parents. These would be the Kelly Rum parents. It's a female. Male's all down there. Oh, there he is. He's looking at the Oscar in the other tank. Oscar and these guys like to flare at each other. I can't believe we're still on the internet down here. Because that is in the belly of the beast. Little baby calf. Aw. Getting ready to show you guys the plants growing up there and these catfish. Boo! Well, we are over the hour mark. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, you can see that Oscar over there. That's cool. These catfish are way more nocturnal. Matter of fact, there's this 125 that I was showing you guys earlier with those baby fish that have like 20 of those in there. And at night, the top just is just so alive with those fish. These baby fish will hide out. Then all the others will come out. I would say I would feed them and try to bait them to show you, but I don't really want to throw them off their schedule because the timers are still on. All right, here we are over the hour mark. Maybe we'll do a short of that sometime sooner than later. Mr. Sardine says, I want to camp in your fish room. I'll bring my sleeping pad and sleeping bag, paradise on earth. No, I have thought about it would be cool if we had like a little like Airbnb where it's like its own separate like cabin that people could come visit and check out the fish room, shop, hang out, enjoy Florida, like old Florida. We got like all the springs around here. So much to do around here. I think that would be cool. Little project one day, maybe. What do you guys think? Lucas, what is the next breeding project you want to work on? There's so many breeding projects that I need to and want to work on. Can't even scratch that with this amount of time right now. Fish Stream says, Lucas, what's your preferred tank size for a rainbow fish grow out? So rainbow fish grow out starting off, I prefer something like a 20 long, something more shallow. And then as I get older, like a 55's good, 40's good, 60 breeder. But when they're young, it's actually better to have shallower waters for them. Less space to have to look for food. And I don't know. Johnny's still in here, but I hope he gets his guppy grass issue solved. I wish I knew exactly why, because to me, I don't know, it's kind of mind-boggling. But anyways, thank you guys all for joining. Definitely at the end of the chat here, I don't see any other questions, so hope you guys enjoyed as well. If you did, please hit that like button. Maybe YouTube will start pushing me more, which will help grow this more, and we could really do a lot of things. Like, the more we do here, sometimes I imagine, like, I've been doing this a long time, and I know partially it's my fault for the content that I do create that isn't quite directed where it should be. But all that will be coming out soon too. So if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button too. I'm gonna peel it off like a band-aid. Have a great weekend. Till next time, everybody. Peace. Dun 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 dun. Break records. Beatbox.